Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to News 9 Live. I'm Kabir Naqvi. Joining me here in the studio is my colleague VHP Abraham, and the tensions that are certainly escalating in Nuh and the adjoining areas and districts in Haryana. That's going to be our focus over the next couple of minutes. Now, Haryana has been put on high alert with heavy security arrangements in place. Well, why? This after the Sarv Jatiya Hindu Mahapanchayat called for a Shobha Yatra in Nuh district. The yatra is being held despite Chief Minister Malhar denying permission for the procession. Now, Nuh witnessed a series of communal disturbances last month that had spilled into its neighboring districts as well. We're talking arson, violence, complete cars being charred, schools that were shut for days on end, and if that wasn't all, proper communal clashes also took place on the ground. Now, according to a police spokesperson, in Nuh, 1900 Haryana Police personnel and 24 companies of the paramilitary forces have been deployed. All entry points to Nuh have been sealed, and the road leading to the Malhar temple has also been closed. Traffic on the KMP Expressway and the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway will, however, continue normally. Now, the state government has suspended mobile internet services from the 26th of August till the 28th of August. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we expand this particular discussion, and we're also going to be joined by former DGPs and DCP of Delhi as well, let me just tell you what exactly is happening on the ground. There's a proper flashpoint. The VHP wants to carry out this particular yatra, the Nuh Shobha Yatra. On the other hand, you've got the Home Minister Anil Vij and you've got the Chief Minister Manohar that have categorically come out and said this is not going to happen. On the other hand, the VHP remains steadfast and adamant. This was something they had planned erstwhile as well. And the exact trajectory of the yatra, that was also something that was under question. Now, the flashpoints. Take a look at this. Haryana Police Chief says permission for yatra has been denied in view of the 31st of July incident that happened. And of course, all of this is happening ahead of the G20 summit. The VHP says Jal Abhishek Yatra will be taken out and there's no need to obtain any permission in the first place for such religious processions. Meanwhile, multiple layers of barricading, the visuals that you're seeing on your streams as well, they have been erected at entry points to Nuh and vehicles are being thoroughly checked. Prohibitory orders have been issued in Nuh district. Mobile internet and bulk SMS services have been suspended. On the other hand, this is the collateral damage. Educational institutions and banks are going to remain shut today. One state school board exam has already been put off. There are no traffic curbs on the KMP and the Delhi-Mumbai expressways, however. But to quote the Chief Minister, ladies and gentlemen, permission for yatra has been denied, but people can go and offer prayers in nearby temples as it is the Sawan month. So, people can go to nearby temples is what the Chief Minister is saying. The Home Minister is saying do not carry out the yatra. If you do, we have our security that has been deployed and is in position to ready to be mobilized. On the other hand, the VHP, the Hindu outfit that wants to carry out with this yatra, is saying we don't need any permission for carrying out this religious procession. Now, take a look at the peripheral factors. There are threat posters that have come across in a Gurgaon slum in shanties. At least 800-900 people have been forced to go back home. Dwellers in the residential high-rises are feeling the pinch, and of course, cops have been deployed. Another factor, a peripheral factor story, youths asked a duo, truck driver duo, their names, and upon learning that these were Muslim duo, well, of course, they were later attacked. This is the current situation, which is why you're seeing the companies of police and rapid action forces and paramilitary forces that have been deployed on the ground. Varghese, right at the forefront. G20 summit is happening. Border points have always been sensitive over the last 2 months. But let all of that dissipate. What's happening on the ground in Haryana, especially in Gurgaon, in let's say Nuh, and the demands that have been put across by the VHP not paying heed to what the local administration is saying. How do you think this is going to play out? Flashpoint, do you think we're underplaying the entire situation when we're calling this a flashpoint? Because this seems to be like a full-blown rift, a full-blown clash.
Well, it looks like the state government has given out that instruction saying there shouldn't be any kind of trouble when it comes to the yatra, and at the same time they said it can't be a yatra where a lot of people are going to be there. They in fact asked them to cut down on the number of people who could be on that yatra. Meanwhile, what we understand is that the Chief Minister said that people can go to nearby temples on the yatra route. It can be informal gatherings and not a politicized kind of a gathering, which resulted in the kind of violence that we saw last time. So the Chief Minister is quite clear on that. Of course, a huge number of security personnel have been deployed over here, and the reason over here is only, and the reason for the deployment is only one. Last time we saw the fact how the entire local administration collapsed when there was violence. It started with a stone pelting during the yatra. You saw guns were made visible, and at the same time you also did see that there was an effort on the part of some people and what I call these anti-social elements to attack the cyber station. Why that happened? Because again, the biggest theory that was given at that time was that NU was emerging as a center for cyber crimes like Jamtara. So security experts had said that at that time they have to go ahead and ensure that they take a look at what's happening. So all these factors together is actually contributing to the situation that you see now.
Absolutely. You know what? We've got the right kind of people on our panel. Joining us on the broadcast is A.K. Jain, former DGP Uttar Pradesh. Very warm welcome to you, sir. And L.N. Rao, former DCP right here in Delhi in the national capital. I'm going to first quickly go across to Mr. A.K. Jain till we're doing our initial checks with L.N. Rao. Mr. Jain, we've been talking about NU and the violence and the Shobha Yatra for a very long time now. Again, now the Chief Minister has come out. He said no to this Yatra. The Home Minister says that if the Yatra is carried out, well, we've got our people deployed on the ground. But the VHP, the Hindu outfit, says that wait a minute, we don't even need permission for carrying out this Yatra. Do you think that this is sort of like a recipe for a clash that's coming up? 11 a.m. was the time that was given out for this Yatra to be carried out. What do you think is going to play out? What do you think is happening? You've been learning and reading about the factors at play as well.
It's a very sad step which has been taken by Haryana government, by Haryana CM. I am very clear about it. This Yatra should have been allowed to take place under tight police supervision. SP, DM, DIG, IG, ADG, all the officers should have been asked to remain there. Meetings should have been held before 28th with the representatives of Muslim community, Hindu community, and Muslims should have been asked to cooperate and to support the Yatra. Had I been there as SP, I would have done it. I would have done it personally. I would have talked to all the people of all the communities that this is setting up a bad precedent.
All right.
Now you are giving a message to the country. Now you have given a clear-cut message to the country that if some community, which is 80% of the population, wants that the minority community, 20%, should not be allowed to take out procession, then you can stop it. One should remember that this can be followed at other places also where Hindus are in majority. What precedent are you setting up? What message are you trying to give? You are trying to give message that if you are in large numbers, you can stop it, you can indulge in stone pelting, and then the Yatra will stop, and in future it will not be allowed to be taken out. This is absolutely alarming. And this should not have been done. I don't know who are the people who are advising Haryana CM, HM. That day, SP should have been there. If SP was not there, his senior DIG, IG, ADG should have been there. There is no dearth of officers in Haryana and in all the states. Senior officers are plenty in number. Giving charge of NU to SP Palwal, and SP Palwal is monitoring the procession from Palwal. What is this? You are not supposed to act like this in a state like Haryana. It is your creation. It is the creation of the local police and administration that such a law and order situation has been created. Had I been there, meetings should have been held. The civil defense wardens would have been deployed. Peace committees should have been formed, and Muslims should have been asked to welcome the yatris. And within no time, the surcharged communal atmosphere of Nu and of Haryana would have become absolutely normal. And the need was that it should be made normal. Need is not that you start arresting people, you aggravate the situation further, and then there is communal trouble and other parts of the state. Khap panchayats are taking place. Then you keep on. There is no end to it.
Absolutely.
No end to
you know what,
it.
Mr. Jain, I would like to bring in, Ellen Rao over here so that you can also understand, what his perspective on this is. Mr. Rao, ever since the 31st of July and the embers of this violence spreading across to all the adjoining districts, some of them in Rajasthan as well. And then, like Mr. Jain pointed out, there were Khap panchayats, there were proper clarion calls for war against the Muslims. There was a proper Hindu-Muslim angle to this as well. And today as well, we're learning about, a proper Muslim-dominated shanty slum in Gurgaon that was being threatened with, proper death threats and posters that had come up. At least 800, 900 people have already left their homes, and that's just one batch that I'm talking about. What is your opinion of what has transpired, what had transpired on the 31st of July, what happened after that, and the renewed calls for this yatra? Today we're sitting on the 28th of August, sir, and this is almost 2 months after that. And this yatra is again, it seems like, going to be carried out. Mr. Jain saying that the word coming from the local administration authority is actually not in fact a welcome step in his opinion. What's your opinion? What's your take? Over to you.
Yes, good morning to everyone, to your all listeners. I fully agree with Mr. Jain, and this is, I think that the law and order situation and law and order subject is with the state government, and giving this message that under these circumstances that Hindus cannot be given permission to proceed on that whatever the religious function, that is, I think that is not warranted at all. It shows that we have bowed down with the threats which are possibly from the community of the about 80% of that area. And this is not done because this will definitely putting a very wrong impression, wrong precedent that in other parts of the country also there are some other Muslim communities in lower strata. Then if they want to do something, that they will also not be allowed to do that. We are living in a secular country, and every religion has the right to go ahead with their sentiments and with their processions. And denying Hindus today for that purpose, because of this violence has been taken place, I don't think that it's a sound step taken by the government or the administration. We must be having a firm and a firm decision, and we force our ultimately the police force and administration has a big power to utilize that in such circumstances. And if we are not utilizing the power, we should have we should have a proper arrangement there, and that process should be allowed, and that religious function should be continued to allowed. And moreover, also there is a system in police that to increase the communal harmony, both these communities should be put together, they should be talked about it, and there should be a unanimous consensus, and there should not be any disturbance, there should not be any violence, and these type of processions cannot be stopped like this, which has been done in Haryana like this.
Okay.
So I don't think that is a good proposal and good suggestion.
Okay, Mr. Jain and Mr. Rao, both of the opinion over there, Varghese, that this is in fact not a welcome step. Now, Mr. Jain, the two questions that I wanted to know personally, when the VHP here says that this yatra will be taken out and there is no need to obtain permission, is how much truth is there in that particular statement, sir? In terms of law and order and the legalities that bind such processions.
VHP is absolutely wrong. They are under a false notion. Every time you require a permission, you require permission from the local SDM, CEO, SHO, or SP and DM.
So what do you think is going to happen now, sir? What do you think is going to happen now? We're learning, I'm learning right now that the VHP says that it will carry out its yatra.
What will happen? I will tell you what will happen. In the garb of offering jal at various Shiv temples, at Malhar temple, at other temples, many people will collect and they will go and offer it. So there will be sort of mini yatras. Mini yatras will be taken out, and no regular procession will be taken out, but mini yatras will be taken out, and they will say that we have offered it and we have taken out our procession. I am telling you that 24 companies of paramilitary forces are there. 1900 or 1700 men you say are deployed over there. Why are you wasting so much of manpower for nothing? You are stopping people from doing a right activity. Their religious rights are protected under the constitution. And this is absolute weak stand. Absolutely weak stand taken by Haryana government, Haryana Police. And this should not have been done. This should not have been done at any cost. There are so many things. Let me tell you. Number one, weapons should have been got deposited, or they should have been suspended of troublemongers. Number one. Number two, they should have been bound down under 107, 116 for a surety of 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. That if you indulge in breach of peace, this amount will be forfeited and action will be taken against you. Few people can be detained under NSA. I have done this. I got a few people detained under NSA. After 10-15 days, they were released. There was terror everywhere, and एक जिसे कहते हैं कि पत्ता भी नहीं खड़का, सब घरों में बैठे हुए थे, शांतिपूर्वक सब जुलूस निकले. If SP and DM want, no power on earth can stop them from taking out the procession. Okay. They should have given permission. Peace committees should have been formed, and I'm surprised that old SP who has been posted earlier, DM who has been posted there for several years, they have been posted back to the state. They must be having contacts. They should have talked to all the communities, and civil defense wardens should have been pressed into service, and guarding procession will be Muslims. They'll be throwing flower petals on Tirthyatris, and within no time you will find that in Haryana communal atmosphere is absolutely normal. There is absolute communal harmony.
Well, let's hope for good sense to prevail, Mr. Jain. But I mean, over the last 2 months, the situation has been just a little bit different.
Mr. Jain, I was just listening to what you were saying, and Mr. Rao also can join in. The question that I wanted to ask is, we already know 1.5 months ago there was a communal disturbance that has happened. So now, was it wise to actually, as you were saying, let the yatra happen and let the communal harmony kind of a situation that you've been speaking about happen? But is it wise to actually take out a yatra now? Because it's already been quite tense. We saw the kind of violence that happened, almost spilled into the neighboring districts. We have G20 happening in a matter of weeks, and preparations are happening for that also. During that sensitive time is when we are taking out this yatra. So, do you think it was wise enough to go for that decision? Mr. Jha?
Mr. Jain, if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Would you like to answer that question?
It has nothing to do with the G20 summit.
I was actually, and you know, Mr. Rao can probably come in here because I mean, he's the former DCP in the national capital. The national capital is pretty much like a fortress right now, Mr. Rao. With the G20 summit and all the top leaders that are going to come, and that G20 pressure must have weighed down on the neighboring state like Haryana and the chief minister over there as well. Do you think that's a factor that could have acted over here?
No, I don't agree with this idea, because we are sufficiently empowered in Delhi itself that G summit can be carried out very safely and securely here in Delhi. And definitely there may be some impression if there is some violence in adjoining area. Definitely that will have a bad name to the nation. But why violence can be taken place when the police is firm and police is taking care of everything with very preventive measures, as Mr. Jain has said, that all the miscreants who are trying to disturb the siege, they can be detained as a preventive measures. 107, 151 CRPC and the other available legal procedure are definitely with us. The police, if they are having a good intelligence network, then they can find out who are the persons who are trying to disturb this peace, and accordingly they can take action. And this saying that because of G20 this is being denied, that I don't agree with that idea, because every function, whether it's an international level or national level, that are being carried out under the safety and security of our renowned police administration and the other police administrations. That cannot be any reason that religious persons cannot be taken out because of this reason. I don't agree with that.
Okay, all right, Mr. Rao. Mr. Jain and Mr. Rao, do stay on with us and catch this next ground report that's coming in from these tense-ridden areas where tensions, they say, are escalating. I'm sure you're speaking to the right kind of people on the ground as well, but take a look at these ground reports, understand what's happening, and then we'll come back for more.
नू के लिए आज बेहद इंपॉर्टेंट दिन है और यही वजह है कि जो धार्मिक यात्रा निकाली जानी है उसकी परमिशन प्रशासन ने नहीं दी और इसको लेकर के सुरक्षा के पुख्ता इंतजाम। जहां पर इस वक्त हम खड़े हैं ये अलवर चौक है। शहर में घुसते ही पहला चौराहा ये पड़ता और यहीं पर हिंसा की आग सबसे ज्यादा भड़की थी, देखी गई थी। लेकिन आज इस चौराहे से आगे किसी को भी जाने की अनुमति नहीं है, यहां तक कि मीडिया कर्मियों को भी यहीं तक रोका गया। यहां से जो नल्हड़ देव का मंदिर है लगभग 4 से 5 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर है और पूरे इलाके में पुलिस की इसी तरीके की बैरिकेडिंग की गई है। यहां तक कि गुड़गांव से आगे बढ़ते ही सोहना से पहले जो पूरा इलाका है वहां पर बैरिकेडिंग करके एक एक गाड़ियों को चेक किया जा रहा है, उनके नंबरों को नोट किया जा रहा है, मोबाइल नंबर नोट किया जा रहा है और उसके बाद पूरी गाड़ी की तलाशी लेने के बाद ही आगे की तरफ जाने दिया जा रहा है। इसके अलावा इस पूरे इलाके में पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस और वज्र वाहनों की तैनाती कर दी गई है। यहां पर शहर में धारा 144 लागू होने की वजह से जो स्कूल प्रशासन है, जो शिक्षण संस्थान है, उनको बंद कर दिया गया। और शहर की अगर बात करें तो देखिए किस तरीके से पूरी जो दुकानें हैं, जो मार्केट है, वो इस वक्त बंद है। पूरे शहर में ठीक इसी तरीके का सन्नाटा है। इक्का दुक्का जो गाड़ियां सड़क पर नजर आ रही हैं वो या तो डॉक्टर्स की हैं या फिर पुलिसकर्मियों की गाड़ियां नजर आ रही हैं। फिलहाल शहर में शांति है और चारों तरफ पुलिस का कड़ा पहरा है।
So, Mr. Jain, if you heard the reporter over there, it seems like there are two things at play that I sort of observed. Number one, that yes, the police presence is absolutely spot on, it's solid and it has been beefed up and tightened, which only goes on to show that something that you were talking about as well. It does show that the Chief Minister lacks the kind of confidence he has on his own police force when NU is being looked at. And number two, the banks and schools and the internet, that has again been shut. So that's another drawback for all the citizens in NU. Mr. Jain. Mr. A.K. Jain, are you with us?
Hello, yeah, you are asking me?
Yes, absolutely, Jain. Mr. Jain, there was a question to you.
Yeah, okay, sorry. It's a sign of weakness. I call it a very, very weak act on the part of state, on the part of local administration, DGP and other officers. This should not be done. They don't know how to handle communal situation. We know in UP how to handle such communal situations. I have handled it dozens of times personally. And at times when Sunnis were taking out procession, there was stone pelting by Shias. And there was demand that procession of Sunnis should be stopped. I said, no, I will lead the procession. And procession will take place. And if anybody tries to disturb peace, we will resort to firing. But we will not allow the procession to stop in between. And procession was taken out. So many media vans were there. OB vans were there all over the place that now there is going to be a communal riot in old Lucknow. Nothing happened. And suppose that procession was stopped in between, then Shias would not have been able to take out processions. They take out number of processions in old Lucknow. They would not have been allowed to take it out. And now there is permanently there is communal discord. There is charged atmosphere all over the place. Over very small things they will fight. Once procession was taken out, things were absolutely normal. Few people had been arrested by us, They were released later on. They apologized that we will not do it in future. Case was registered against them. Charge sheet was submitted against them. Message was loud and clear. If anybody tries to disturb peace, then he will be booked. If necessary, he will be booked under National Security Act. We will not allow people to disturb the communal harmony in the district. It has happened on so many occasions with Hindus and Muslims also. There are few people who are out to create trouble. If there is need, book MLA, arrest him. There will be absolute peace in the district. Message should be clear that if a government approved procession is being taken out, then it will be taken out. It is the duty of the police. It is the duty of the administration. And outsiders should not have been allowed to join. Nobody should have been allowed to join with weapons or lathis. Ladies were there, girls were there, small children were there. Police should have been there all over the place with instructions that if somebody tries to disturb the communal harmony, if need be, fire in air, resort to lathi charge.
Police should have been there. That's the word that I'm going to, focus on. Mr. Ellen Rao and, Varghese, before you come in here, threat posters come up near slums, cops have been deployed. Procession to start at 11 a.m. says the VHP, even when the Chief Minister says it shouldn't have happened. Truck driver and helper attacked in Gurgaon over appearance and their clothes. Mr. Rao, take a look at these, of course, and like Mr. Jain pointed out, these are fringe elements, troublemakers, like Mr. Jain calls them. But there are quite a few troublemaking stories that are now coming to light. What's your viewpoint on that, sir?
Definitely, the troublemakers should be identified with a very good network of intelligence. Police has a very sensitive intelligence network, and they can find out who are the mischief mongers. There should be a clear message to those mischief mongers that if they want to disturb the peace, stern action will be taken. Once they get a message from the police that nothing will be spared, and the police is very firm and strong against them, that definitely they will not indulge in any sort of these activities. Moreover, if the procession is allowed to be taken, that should be guarded with a very strong bandobast, that is called arrangement, and that people should not be allowed to carry any weapon, and the area from where that procession is to be taken out, all that area should be sensitized. We have a very big force in Haryana Police, and if required, that Haryana Police can requisite some other extra paramilitary forces from other sources, requesting to the MHA, but this type of procession should be allowed to be taken. And it seems that police has bowed down under the proposed threat of these people, and that is a very wrong message. And in that case, the weakness of police is very much visible to these people. So,
exactly the point that I was coming to. Last time, Mr. Rao and Mr. Jain, that's the exact point I was trying to come up. Last time when we saw the violence, we saw complete collapse of the police and the administration there, and that is why the violence spread to neighboring districts also.
Absolutely.
Now it looks like they need to prove a point, and that's why they're having this extra bandobast and trying to clamp it down completely so that they don't want to be blamed, rather than taking the tougher route like allowing the yatra, having the security in place, and then ensuring the peace. It looks like this is the easier way out, is to just clamp the yatra because they can't take the criticism.
No, definitely that last time the situation was different than this present situation, because after that violence, so many cases have been arrested, so many people are behind the bars, and there is a clear message from the police also that whosoever will indulge in violence, they will be taken care of. Now the police has definitely information about the mischief mongers, and they also have some strategy to play, and the local MLA and other people who are respective people, they are also in touch with the police. And with all these things in mind, I don't think that there is any problem in carrying out the Shobha Yatra.
Absolutely.
That should have been taken up. Yes.
Absolutely. You know what, Varghese, I do have to concede that, both the former top cops with us on the panel are saying that, it is actually, in fact, a little bit of a weak step coming there from the local administration. The local administration should have made it a point that, you know, the yatra is carried out. Tomorrow it could be some other religion's yatra that is going to be stopped. And the message that they're talking about of this, you know, Nu being a Muslim dominated area, and the message that spreads across to other parts of the country that, you know, this domination in one area can be, you know, used and can be used, the power of that domination can be used to stop a particular religious yatra. That is
where
one thing
I'm
to look at.
See, Kabir, that is where I'm trying to, that's why I partially disagree with Mr. Jain and Mr. Rao as to the yatra should be taken out right now. My question is, have you built enough of confidence that the yatra could be taken out right now? Confidence in the sense that to the point where you had the community leaders speaking about it and then the yatra being taken, that would have been a totally different aspect. Over here, under a tense atmosphere, you're taking out a yatra. That is where the issue
Maybe
is.
that's the first confidence building measure.
No,
and that's what the former top cops
see, that
are
is what
also
I'm saying.
suggesting.
The confidence building measure to happen, you have to have the kind of negotiations that we should have had. But is it the right time is the question that is being asked. Because again, the yatra, of course, has to happen. And you can, in a secular society like ours or a secular country like ours, you cannot stop a religious procession from just not happening. You can't just, you know, abdicate your responsibilities. But again, the police who was at the receiving end of the criticism for the violence that happened last time and how it turned out to be quite disastrous when it came to the way they handled it and how the, you know, the local administration had collapsed and it spread to the nearby this thing as well, nearby districts as well. Well, that is something that has come up as a cause of concern. And because that has come up as a cause of concern, I think they are going with that extra effort to clamp it down and try to say that, you know, you break the yatra into, well, that is also the wrong way of approaching it. The question is, both the communities should have had come to a peace over there. And then the yatra should have taken place. But is this the right time to take out that yatra?
Well, like Mr. Jain is pointing out, right, had he been there and, you know, he seems to be talking with the right kind of passion because he does have a point. If the SP and the DM, if they want no untoward incident to happen, well, then no untoward incident will happen because that's the kind of push and pull the police has on the ground. Meanwhile, gentlemen, do stay on with us. Let's understand the situation a little bit more better. Another ground report coming in. Take a look.
28 अगस्त यानी आज हिंदू संगठन नल्लड़ महादेव से धार्मिक यात्रा निकालना चाहते हैं, लेकिन नू प्रशासन ने इस धार्मिक यात्रा की परमिशन नहीं दी है और इसको लेकर के सुरक्षा काफी कड़ी और इसीलिए आप देखेंगे नू के बॉर्डर पर किस तरीके से बैरिकेड किया गया है। पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस को यहां पर बड़ी संख्या में तैनात किया गया है। आला अधिकारी यहां मौके पर मौजूद है। इसके अलावा हरियाणा पुलिस के जवानों की यहां पर तैनाती की गई है। इसके अलावा यहां पर आप देखेंगे तो एंटी राइट व्हीकल को भी तैनात किया गया, साथ में फायर ब्रिगेड की टीम और एम्बुलेंस को भी खड़ा किया गया है और एक एक गाड़ी को इस तरीके से चेक करने के बाद उनके सामानों की तस्दीक करने के बाद गाड़ी में कोई संदिग्ध सामान ना हो ये देखने के बाद एक एक डिटेल गाड़ी की और गाड़ी में मौजूद लोगों की नोट करने के बाद गाड़ी नंबर मोबाइल नंबर नोट करने के बाद ही लोगों को आगे जाने दिया जा रहा है। नू का बॉर्डर यहां से शुरू होता है, यहीं से नू जिला की जो सीमा है शुरू होती है और इसीलिए यहां पर आप देखेंगे कि अत्याधुनिक हथियारों से लैस जो पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस और हरियाणा पुलिस के जो जवान हैं उनकी तैनाती की गई, आला अधिकारी भी खड़े हैं और इसके अलावा इस पूरे इलाके में ड्रोन के जरिए भी नजर रखी जा रही है। प्रशासन के सामने बड़ी चुनौती है कि आज किसी भी तरीके से इतिहास को ना दोहराया जाए, पुरानी जो हिंसा 31 जुलाई को हुई थी वो ना होने पाए और जो यात्रा है उसको ना निकालने दिया जा पाए, जबकि हिंदू संगठन यात्रा निकालने पर फिलहाल अड़े हुए हैं। सुरक्षा को लेकर के नू प्रशासन पूरी तरीके से अलर्ट है और नू में घुसने वाले तमाम जो रास्ते हैं वहां पर ठीक इसी तरीके से बैरिकेडिंग करके सुरक्षा व्यवस्था को कड़ा कर दिया गया है। नू को अभेद किले के तौर पर तब्दील कर दिया गया है, धारा 144 लगा दी गई है और इंटरनेट को बंद कर दिया गया है।
Did you look at the amount of arrangements that were made? इंतजाम बंदोबस्त like Mr. Rao was talking about, बंदोबस्त देखा आपने सर, इतना जबरदस्त बंदोबस्त. Somebody will of course and definitely ask the question, isn't this justified? Something must have led for this situation to happen, right? Something must have led for the police force to now put up the amount of barricades that you're seeing, put up the blue uniform, the khaki uniform, the anti-riot vehicle. It must have something must have led to this, right?
You are absolutely correct. This is a highly unfortunate situation. I call it very very, very unfortunate situation, not only for Nu, not only for Haryana, but for the entire country. You are creating ghettos. You are asking people, Hindu community people of Nu, to gradually leave Nu and settle in Gurugram. And one day will come when Muslims will not be allowed to stay in Gurugram and they will shift to Nu. Is this India which we wanted in 1947? That one community cannot survive with another community. They will have their own independent districts, they will have their own independent tehsils, and they will have their own independent villages. No Muslim will be allowed to stay in Hindu village, and no Hindu will be allowed to stay in Muslim village. What are we coming to? This is absolutely shameful. People are not realizing the implication of these steps. One should realize the implications and then take a decision. Absolutely wrong decision has been taken, and let me use very strong words. It's a cowardice on the part of local administration and police that they don't have guts to say that we will take out the Shobha Yatra. We'll be present on the spot. Muslims will welcome it.
So what you are essentially saying, Mr. Jain, is that barricading it and what the local administration has done in Nu is basically taking the easier way out. Is that right? Mr. Jain?
You are asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. What are you suggesting? That the local administration has taken the easier way out by saying that barricading is easier than carrying out the yatra, right?
Yeah, it is very easy to impose Section 144 and very, very difficult task to implement it.
Right.
And they have imposed 144 and they think that they have made bandobast and nobody should. This should have been done on 31st July. Outsiders should not have been allowed to come.
No, you're absolutely right, Mr. Jain. 31st July की बात तो अब वो बीत गई. We're looking at 2 months after 31st of July, sir. But you know, the points that you've put across are that, you know, of course, it comes across as a weak step by the local administration. If they really wanted to, you know, exude any kind of confidence in the local people, then this yatra should have been carried out, albeit with the right kind of paraphernalia and police force deployed and the box technique, the strategies that you've been coming on News 9 and talking to everybody about as well. Before we wrap this up, and we'll get to know exactly what happens on the ground, the situation, the socio-economic factors at play as well. Mr. Rao, very quickly, sir, how do we dissipate, how do we alleviate the fears amongst the people? What is the next step? What is the road ahead, the future road ahead? I mean, Nu and the Muslim domination in Nu is not going to go anywhere, and Haryana and the state and the religious principles, neither are they. We're a society, a secular country like you suggested. We've got to live together by the end of the day. What do you suggest? What's the road ahead?
Yes, I have worked in Delhi police on the ground level itself for about 35 years, and I have headed so many police stations also. And I must tell you, if we are competent and we are willing to do that, we can create in itself a communal harmony among the people, among the two communities or three communities rather, you can say. I have worked in sensitive places like in Sikh minority, Sikh dominated area as well as Muslim dominated area, but जैसे कहते हैं ना, पुलिस चाहे तो चिड़ी पर नहीं मार सकती, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. एवरीथिंग इज कैन बी टेकन केयर ऑफ, एवरीथिंग कैन बी कंट्रोल्ड, but it depends upon the willpower by the police and the administration, and this type of taking decision, no doubt that is a sensitive area because of G20 also, and then whatever reasons might have been with the government, we cannot blame that directly. But apparently it seems that the police administration and the Haryana government has shown their weaknesses on this point, and that should not have been happened. That will be a very wrong precedent. And to keep the communal harmony, that people of that area should be taken into confidence, and one-to-one talk can be done by the police station level, because the police administration is governed by the police station itself, and the police station itself is also divided into divisions and beat staff, and all police officers are intermingling with the public, and if they are having very cordial relations with the public, then they can take away all these things with very peacefully and with very good coordination.
Point taken, point noted. Well, gentlemen, always a pleasure to be speaking with you. Ellen Rao, former DCP Delhi, and former DGP Uttar Pradesh, A.K. Jain, with us here on the broadcast. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful inputs. We will have to wait and watch as to what really happens on the ground. You're right in pointing out that this does come across as a little bit of cowardice at the end of the local administration. To exude confidence, the Yatra should have gone over. But then again, something has led to this particular situation. So it is sensitive and it's a unique situation. Let's not compare this with, of course, your very decorated careers, both gentlemen. Many thanks for joining with us, sir. Varghese, we'll have to wait and find out as to what really happens, because the bigger question, according to me, is do we keep into account the safety of the people today or worry about the future presidents? That's what I think needs to be looked at on the ground. Our colleague, he's spoken to some more people in Nu. We'll leave you with these conversations, understand and pick and choose and ponder, create your opinion for yourself. That's all the time we have for you. Keep watching News9 Live.
नू में आज हिंदू संगठन धार्मिक यात्रा निकालना चाहता है और इसको लेकर के प्रशासन सख्त है, लेकिन इस वक्त हमारे साथ नू शहर के मुफ्ती जाहिद हुसैन साहब मौजूद हैं। मुफ्ती जी, ये बताइए कि आज हिंदू संगठन जो है यात्रा निकालने की बात कह रहे हैं, प्रशासन मना कर रहा है और धारा 144 भी लगाई है, मुस्लिम समाज की तरफ से क्या संदेश देना चाहिए?
हमारा तो ये है कि भाई प्रशासन ने जो धारा 144 लगाई है उस पर अमल होना चाहिए और हिंदू संगठनों को, VHP को ऐसी जिद नहीं करनी चाहिए जो प्रशासन को तकलीफ हो और प्रशासन के कानून में दखलंदाजी हो। कानून बड़ी चीज़ है और मुसलमानों की तरफ से तो हमने पहले ही अपील कर रखी है कि मुसलमानों ने कभी भी किसी यात्रा का विरोध नहीं किया है। चैलेंजबाजियों का एतराज़ है, कोई ऐतराज़ नहीं है हमें और प्रशासन के हम साथ खड़े हैं। प्रशासन अमन और शांति के लिए प्रशासन ने इंटरनेट बंद कर दिया, हमें मंजूर है। प्रशासन ने दफ़ा 144 लगा रखी है, हम उस पर अमल कर रहे हैं। क्यों? शांति बहाली करने के लिए प्रशासन के जो भी कदम हैं वो सही हैं और प्रशासन दफ़ा 144 के हिसाब से किसी को भी 4 आदमी से ज़्यादा इकट्ठा ना होने दे, वो प्रशासन के फैसले सही हैं। हम प्रशासन के फैसलों को सराहना करते हैं और हम उनके साथ खड़े हुए हैं।
और अगर धार्मिक यात्रा निकाली जाती है या वहाँ पर जाते हैं लोग, तो क्या आप लोग उनका समर्थन करेंगे? सुकून शांति से सारी चीज़ें रहेंगी?
देखिए, अगर प्रशासन इजाज़त देता है, प्रशासन निकलता है तो हम कुछ बोलेंगे, वरना प्रशासन नहीं देता तो हमारी तरफ से बगैर प्रशासन के आर्डर के कोई नहीं है। रहा कोई अपने मंदिर में जल चढ़ा रहा है, अपने यहाँ जहाँ जा रहा है, हमें कोई ऐतराज़ नहीं है। लेकिन जो जिले की स्थिति है, प्रशासन नहीं निकलवा रहा, प्रशासन रोक लगा रहा है, तो हम क्यों किसी का समर्थन करें? हम तो प्रशासन का समर्थन करेंगे।
आप प्रशासन का समर्थन करेंगे तो जाहिर तौर पर यहाँ से संदेश दिया जा रहा है मुफ्ती साहब की तरफ से कि पूरी तरीके से अमन चैन कायम रहे और प्रशासन ने जो भी निर्णय लिए हैं इस शहर की सुकून के लिए, ताकि यहाँ पे कोई हिंसा ना हो, उसके लिए अब पूरा ये लोग साथ में हैं और प्रशासन का सहयोग कर रहे हैं।
Pakistan is actually genociding Baloch people. So being Baloch is a crime. If you are a Baloch, it means in the eyes of Pakistan, you don't have any right to live.
The Chinese and Pakistanis are colonizing the Baloch and exploiting their resources.
The Baloch armed struggle will continue unless China withdraws, Pakistan military withdraws from Balochistan and give Baloch complete authority to decide for themselves.
The Baloch feel that if they don't act now, they will become marginalized.
What lies ahead for Balochistan?
Balochistan, Bangladesh 2.0, streaming now.